Hey now, so last time you watched one of my videos, we talked about what diversity is. What are the different types of diversity we could be talking about? And I brought up the concept of the identity wheel. And what I found out is that a lot of people had never seen it before. And so I thought it'd be a really good time to readdress it and think about what it means a little bit more. So I found another version of an identity wheel that I think will really help clear up this concept for you. And I want to thank the counseling and wellness folks at UFCWC for sharing this with us. So this is a more expanded, zoomed in version of the identity wheel. To give you a feel, we're talking about race, gender, worldview, ability status, sexual orientation, other types of identities, social class, and ethnicity, right? So just to give you an idea of how to think about this, even though my name is Anne and I show up in spaces as Anne, I still come with identity, right? And it's not just one identity. I come with a lot of different identities. I come as a Black woman. That right there is a double intersection of things that could be stereotyped, and it has a multiply burdened stereotype, because then you have things like, I'm not just falling into the stereotypes of being Black, or I couldn't be just characterized by the stereotypes about being a woman, but then you have things where you smush them together and it's like being an angry Black woman. And I know a lot of people have heard that stereotype before. Then you have things like your worldview, right? And sometimes just because you're Christian, you might be stereotyped as being very conservative, but at the same time, the literature shows that if you're a Black Christian, 9 times out of 10, you tend to be much more liberal because you think about Christianity from the social justice perspective. Things like ability, and sometimes ability isn't even seen. Like, for example, if you're hard of hearing, or for example, if you have arthritis, that's considered an ability status at this point. So your ability can show up as being something that can be discriminated against. Do you have full access? Are you thought of not being able to do something just because you don't have that particular normal behavior, right? Sexual orientation and things like, you know, are you in this LGBTQIA spectrum of identities that might show up and get discriminated against? And you know what? Even though you could be a heterosexual, you can be in an environment where it's full of folks that are homosexuals or transgendered, and you can be the non-normative person and feel some type of alienation because you don't affiliate with their group, even though you want to be an ally to that group. Then you have things like being a first gen student. You know, there's things you just don't know coming into those environments. If you're the first person in your family, your neighborhood, your background that could be showing up in that space, you don't know the ins and outs. You don't know how to talk to a professor because no one in your family's ever done it before. Then you have things like social economics. Social economics is huge because it goes into some of those other identities, like being a first gen student, like I just talked about, but it's about access. And a lot of times we hear things like they should be able to pull their own selves up from their bootstraps. Well, guess what? If you're poor, you don't have a boot. So you can't pull yourself up from your own bootstraps. So these are just some things to think about, and to think about how these people might be facing barriers in your organization, and get you to start to think about what you need to do to help these people be more successful, or at least have an equitable seat at the table. So hope this helped you, and I'll see you again next time. Have a great day.